guys, so today I'm back with a very exciting video, a video that I've been waiting to make for a long time, and that is my fan account of BTS's The Red Bullet live in Melbourne. We've just gotten back today and I've been feeling really depressed that the concert's over, and I thought what better way to relive concert memories than to talk about it all over again and tell you guys what happened, because some really awesome things happened and it was just one of the best concerts and probably one of the best nights of my entire life. Like it's pretty up there in the grand scheme of my life. So I guess first thing to start off with would be the tickets. The Australian leg of the Red Bullet tour sold out in approximately 7 minutes. So competition for these VIP tickets was really intense, and as I mentioned in a previous video, I was lucky enough to get VIP passes for myself and a friend, and it just so happened that these passes were actually front row seats. I could not believe my luck. Honestly, I was not expecting it, and here is the beautiful ticket. Row AAA, amazing. And the reason for this is because I actually brought a wheelchair with me, so I actually needed a wheelchair seat. So I had a view kind of on the side, on the side of the stage, I would say, far right on the side of the stage at the front, and they were honestly amazing. Once we got in there, these people were handing out signs. I don't know if this is going to be for the other stops of the tour. I'm pretty sure this is an Australian exclusive, but we had a little special fan event for I Need You, and there was instructions on here that said to hold up this card and hold up this side, the I Need You sign, during the first chorus. Yes, the first chorus. So we got these when we walked in, which was really exciting, but I don't know if that's going to be on every stop of the Red Bullet. I feel like it was just an exclusive from the Oz Army project. I feel like this was kind of run independently, so I can't actually say whether or not it's going to be on other stops of the tour or not. But once we got those, we headed into our seats, and somebody was standing in my seat, and I was like, what's going on? And then it hit me that it was the host of SBS Pop Asia, Andy True, and it was kind of awkward because I was like, excuse me, like, I'm standing in my seat. Like, I honestly, I didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, oh my god, this is so awkward. I haven't watched SBS Pop Asia in a while. For those of you who don't know what SBS Pop Asia is, because it is an Australian thing, it's a show on Sunday mornings, and it's pretty much a music video show but with Asian pop, so mostly K-pop and a little bit of J-pop and stuff, and they have a lot to do with the K-pop concerts and stuff, so they were obviously like reporting the K-pop concert. So that was a very interesting encounter. And then we sat down and we got to our seats, but once we got in there, they kind of started to display these massive warnings and detailed warnings about what was going to happen to you if you got caught with a camera or like a recording device of some description, because somebody was actually caught live streaming the concert in Sydney. I didn't listen to it beforehand because I didn't want to spoil the song list, because the song lists for Sydney and Melbourne were exactly the same, but basically I wasn't going to risk getting my phone out because we were going to get in serious trouble. And then they pretty much kicked off at exactly on time, exactly 6:30, and I just remember screaming my face off. Like, that's honestly all I remember at this point. And it started off with a video of BTS, like introducing the members of BTS and introducing the concept and how BTS kind of started with this cute little story about finding bulletproof vests in a cupboard, which was really cute. Really nice way to kind of tie in the whole Red Bullet concept. I really enjoyed that. And they kicked off with No. I feel like it was No, and honestly it was amazing. They started off with mostly up-tempo songs, and they were wearing suits which are very similar to what they were wearing in the Dope era, so the era, like the comeback just now. Like, one of them, I feel like one of them has like a navy kind of suit, and that's what they were all wearing. It looked really good, and everybody just looked fabulous, and it was just glorious. And then they did, I think it was 3 up-tempo numbers. I can't actually remember. I might post the song list in the description just because I feel like I'm going to butcher this. I honestly cannot remember the names of the songs. I tend to only know the names of the songs by their Korean titles, so I don't really know them in English well enough to say them. But basically, yes, up-tempo songs first. And then they kind of had a little MC break, like a chatting break, and they were introducing themselves, and from this point everybody spoke English. There was not a single word of Korean that was spoken during the concert to the crowd. Like, they did speak Korean to the members, like between themselves, like maybe if they were talking during the breaks in the song or whatever, they were speaking Korean, but to the fans it was completely in English, which was really, really cool. Like, I thought that Rapmon would actually be carrying most of the conversation at the concert, but actually all the members really like pulled their weight in terms of conversation, and their English has gotten so much better. Like, it was actually crazy how good they were. And then they kind of moved into their softer songs. They spoke about their album Dark and Wild, and they said they were going to play some songs off Dark and Wild. So they played just Let Me Know, yeah, Let Me Know, and, you know, more of Hormone, which I feel like was actually towards the end. I take that back. And there's another song, Embarrassed. I feel like Embarrassed is the one. And they pulled out some furniture, and they were like lazing around on the bed and on this couch and just doing all this really cutesy stuff. And they had an egg yolk contest, and Rapmon was asking everyone if they knew what the word meant, and they did a rock, paper, scissors, and they were saying rock, paper, scissors wrong. They were like paper, scissors, rock, and I'm like, no, that's not how we say it here. And then turns out that I feel like it was Jungkook that lost in Sydney, because my friend also went to the Sydney concert as well. I only went to the Melbourne one, but apparently Jungkook was the loser in Sydney and V was the loser in Melbourne. So V had to do some egg yolk, which was so funny. I love V. I think he's great. So that was really exciting for me. And it was during the first half of the concert that I actually had a bit of a moment with J-Hope. I think because I was in the front row, J-Hope kind of came to my side, and I was just making eye contact with that boy because J-Hope is just, oh my goodness. And he kind of looked at me and he kind of pointed at me, and I was just like, I'm dead. Like I'm dead. Like that is just it for me. Like I can't even function. J-Hope's like already looked at me like I'm just done with my life. And then I can't remember exactly what songs were played. It's really hard to tell because it was a few days ago. But basically then after they did their soft songs like Just One Day and, you know, all this kind of ballady stuff, then they kicked back into the more exciting stuff. So they did songs like War of Hormone and I Need You as well, and just lots of really up-tempo songs. And I remember one moment pretty vividly when they started to do Miss Right. Now, Miss Right doesn't really have that much English in it, but BTS decided that they would do a sing-along to Miss Right, and I love this song. This is honestly one of my favourite songs from the repackage, but I felt like it was kind of an obscure choice for like an audience participation thing because most of it is in Korean. So they kind of tried to get us to sing, and Rapmon was like, oh, let's practice. So we all kind of practiced, and we were like, no, and then no, we just could not keep singing. We just kind of stopped singing, and he was like, oh, but like you guys will sing louder during the song, right? And we're all like screaming, and then the song comes along and we all like start off and we're like, nah, and then it didn't work. I feel like the audience participation bits of the Red Bullet were too much for the Korean fans, because even though they had the Romanized Hangul on screen, it was just too hard. So that was a bit unfortunate. And Jin and I actually had a little bit of a moment during the Miss Right section of the show as well. Now, Jin is my absolute bias in BTS, and I kind of made it my mission on the night that Jin was going to acknowledge me in some way. I didn't care what way, but I was just gonna meet Jin. To be honest, I actually dyed my hair like a few days before just to attract the attention of Jin, because that's how much I love him. So I was really, really excited, and he came over to my side of the stage, which was the right side of the stage, during Miss Right, and it was during the chorus, I think, and he was kind of looking at me and like pointing at me, and we had like a bit of an interacting moment, and it was just beautiful. Like, he was just there was this eye contact and just pointing, and I pointed back. I'm like, Bae, I see you pointing at me. Like, I see you pointing at me. And I remember turning to my friend and I was like, did that just happen? Like, did that actually just happen? And she's like, yes, that just happened. Like, Jin just acknowledged my existence. And from that point on, I was just dead. And there were a few other good moments as well, like the vocal line did a few songs, which was really, really good. A few of the notes I did notice, especially from Jimin, were actually brought down a pitch or two, which I was expecting, because they honestly sing quite a bit, and you know, the vocal strain and all that kind of stuff, and just because it's just so high that maybe he didn't feel comfortable singing those notes live, so it was actually brought down a couple of notches. I noticed the same thing for some of Jungkook's notes as well, because I noticed in their School Love Affair live DVD that their live notes were pretty much on point, so I was very curious to see if they could actually deliver those notes in an actual live performance. Most of the high notes were there, but there were just a few that had to be taken out or like modified, which is understandable. For the most part, the vocal line stuff was pretty awesome. And just don't even get me started on the rap line. I said to my friend that all I wanted to hear from BTS, from this concert, was one of the ciphers. I don't care, part 1, part 2, part 3, like I just didn't care. I just wanted to hear one of the ciphers. And then I heard the intro to Cypher Part 3, and I just remember screaming. I was squealing. I was so excited, and it was amazing. And Suga and Rapmon and J-Hope came out, and they absolutely smashed it. Part 2 was my favorite cypher, but Part 3 is definitely a close second, so that was really, really awesome to actually hear it. And then I heard the intro to Part 2, and I lost it. I absolutely lost it. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm gonna hear Cypher Part 2 live. This is pretty much what started my appreciation for hip-hop and kind of got me interested in the roots of hip-hop and kind of interested in rapping, which I've never really been interested in before. So that had a little bit of significance for me. And then they started, and I was just screaming. I was just in my element. Like, honestly, I was thriving. And then it stopped. They just stopped. They just did the first 30 seconds, a minute, and then just jumped straight into Boy in Luv. And I kind of just sat there, not really sure how to feel. I mean, I love Boy in Luv. I was really, really looking forward to seeing that, but I couldn't hide my disappointment that actually cut my favorite cypher short. So any Cypher Part 2 fans, just be aware that they will troll you with that, because they trolled me. They got me pretty bad. I felt really sad afterwards, actually. And then the encore was really different as well. There was actually 4 songs in this encore. For B1A4, they only did 2 songs for the encore, but for BTS, they did 4. And they literally saved the best songs for last. So they saved like Attack on Bangtan and Dope for last. So the really, really up-tempo ones were saved till last. And it was just really, really good. Like, the fan chants were just so good, because like they're the type of songs that actually get the fan chants going, which I feel like should have been the audience participation section of the evening. Probably would have gone a lot better than our attempts to sing Miss Right, I'm not gonna lie. And then I remember having a moment with Jungkook. He came over my side of the stage and he kind of like waved and kind of smiled at me, and I was just like, oh my god, I love Jungkook. And then I think I may have had a moment with Jimin. It actually happened so fast that I actually can't remember, so I'm not gonna actually say that I had a moment with Jimin. I think I'm just gonna kind of just, I don't know, because I honestly can't remember it. My friend swears by the fact that it happened. She swears by the fact that he acknowledged my existence, but I honestly can't remember it happening, so I'm just not even gonna go there. And then a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful moment happened at the end of the concert. Rapmon was doing a speech. He was doing a speech about how he went to learn English in New Zealand, which is pretty well known at this point, I think. And he said something about how he used to watch the Melbourne Cup on TV, and he always used to admire the Melbourne crowd because they just go crazy for the horses. And he's like, it's crazy that, you know, you're all here today with that same energy, like cheering for me. So that was really beautiful. Like, that was just a beautiful way to end it. And then here is the thing that I have been waiting to share with you guys for a few days. So it was the end of the concert, and they're all kind of saying goodbye, and they're all like super sweaty and just exhausted from the encore. And then I saw Suga go over to the right side of the stage, kind of out of the corner of my eye, but I was kind of just paying attention to Jin. Like, he was just grabbing a towel and whatever, and I was just like, Jin, I was like, Bae, because I'm like, this is probably the last time that I am gonna see Bae. Like, I need to just get in all the eye contact that I can possibly get in. And then I noticed that Suga actually started walking up to me, like walking really close to the stage. And so I turned around, and as I turned around, he was kind of gesturing something to me, and it turns out that he was trying to throw me his towel. Like, his towel that he was just wiping his sweat off of, he was gesturing to throw it to me. He was like, here, like, I'm gonna throw it to you, like, you have to catch it. So I was like, okay. So I stuck out my hands, and he threw me a towel, and this is Suga's sweat towel from BTS, the Red Bullet, live in Melbourne, given to me by Suga. Like, it wasn't just thrown into the audience. Like, Suga actually waited to get my attention and then give it to me. And I just remember screaming. I was just like screaming into the, like, hyperventilating into the towel, because I could not believe that just happened. The smile on his face when he gave it to me was honestly so beautiful. I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Suga because I noticed how much he looks out for his fans. If you've seen the Bangtan bombs where Suga was making fan gifts for his own birthday, for his fans on his birthday, ever since then I've just had a lot of respect for Suga. Like, I just think that he's beautiful, and he always looks out for his fans, and I feel like this is a testament to that. And that was pretty much it. So I was just kind of watching the credits roll after they walked off the stage, kind of hyperventilating into my towel, and I was literally shaking. Like, I was literally shaking. I could not believe that like it had just happened. Like, I could not believe it. And my friend was like to me, you need to breathe, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't breathe. And it was crazy. I have never freaked out that much in a concert in my life. Like, I've never freaked out with an interaction with anyone. If you've seen my fan account of B1A4 road trip in Melbourne, when Shinwoo went to take that photo with me, I was completely calm, but for some reason I was just not coping. And then, so that was pretty much the end of the concert, and we had to wait around because we had tickets to the High Touch. And then here's where things get a bit interesting, is they start putting tables on the stage, like for BTS to come out on stage, and you can't get a wheelchair onto the stage. Like, it's just upstairs. So I actually had a member of the tour promoters staff come up to me and say, oh, like, how many of you are there? Like, are you, like, you know, how many people is, like, in your group? Because we're going to need to take you backstage. Like, we're going to need to take you backstage to get onto the stage to do the High Touch. And I was just like, oh, you know, like, it's just the two of us. So they took us backstage around the convention center, back through the stage, up through the stage, and we passed through BTS's waiting area, so we could see all of their stuff just sitting out. Like, we could see the couches that they'd been chilling on, and like just everything that they'd kind of been doing like in there. It was really crazy. Like, we were literally so close to where they'd been. They weren't there like then, they weren't there waiting, so we didn't actually run into them backstage. I'm actually not sure where they were. I feel like they might have been like on the other side, but still, point is, backstage tour, BTS Red Bullet, and that was really awesome, just to kind of see like how they get ready, like where they get ready, you know, like just basically what like a backstage of a K-pop concert looks like. So that was a really cool experience. And then I basically had to wait with my friend on the side of the stage, like just hanging, chilling in the front of the stage, like no worries. And then the guy's like to me, oh, you can go first. And I was thinking like, oh my god, like don't make me go first, like I really don't want to go first. And then I remember BTS came out and everybody just clapped. They were a little bit late. I had too much time to prepare and I was getting really nervous. Like I kind of forgot what I wanted to say, and my brain just kind of froze, and it was really awkward because like I was using a wheelchair, so like I couldn't get like front on, like I had to kind of drive sideways and like around the park and then like high five, and it wasn't the best planning of a high touch that I've experienced. The one with B1A4 where the members of B1A4 actually came like from out of the table to actually come and like speak to me, that was a lot better because I actually got to give them like proper like two-handed high fives. This one was kind of just like touching like one palm because I was like trying to like steer the chair, and then like my control was like on the side that they were on, so it was really weird. But I feel like I made it through okay. And it was really funny because when I walked up to them, I think the order went, the first one was definitely V was definitely the first one, and he looked really excited to see me. Like he honestly was like, hey Mel, like how are you? And I'm like, oh, you know, I'm good, you know, like thank you so much. And then we kind of touch hands. Like it genuinely seemed like he recognized me. Like we didn't have a actual moment during the concert, but I feel like he probably did see me fangirling in the crowd at some point just to have the reaction that he had towards me. I said hi to J-Hope, and then I feel like it was Jungkook that was third, and Jungkook said to me, you know, hi, you know, thanks for coming. And I was like, thank you. And I feel like Rapmon was fourth. I really wanted to say something to Rapmon. I just wanted to say, you know, like thank you for, I don't know, kind of getting me interested in hip-hop, I suppose. But I just felt like it was really rushed. Like I didn't want to take that much time, even though I was the first one and there was no line behind me at that point. I just kind of felt like, don't take too much time, kind of, because Jimin was already next to Rapmon. He was already kind of holding out his hand, like waiting for me. So it's kind of like, I don't want to keep them waiting. So I didn't say anything to Rapmon really. We didn't really have any moments during the concert just because I think he honestly just gets into the concert so much. So Rapmon and I, we need to save our moment for another time. And then Jimin said hi, and then I got to Suga and I made sure that I, you know, specifically said, you know, thanks for the towel, and you know, we touched hands. And then I got to Jin and I was just like, hi, like I love you, like bye. And honestly, it was actually like a really fast high touch. Like I can't really remember too many of the details of it just because it literally went by in a flash. I remember the things that they said, and I mostly just said hi and they said hi. But either way, we still got to meet BTS and they were just so lovely and just beautiful. And yeah, so that was the end of our BTS Red Bullet experience. We met a couple of fans from our hometown, which was really great. It was really great to see other like interstate fans as well, and it was just one of the best concerts that I've ever been to in my entire life. And now I have Suga's towel, which is probably covered in sweat, I'm not gonna lie. And what I've done is I've ordered a little BTS patch from Etsy, just because it's like literally just like a plain white towel. Like you can't tell that it's, you know, BTS because it's from the venue. Like it's just something that, you know, they were just using to like keep the sweat off their faces and their makeup looking okay and all that kind of stuff. So I've ordered a BTS patch and a little Suga like badge, like pin thing, just a pin on it, just to make sure that I don't accidentally throw it in the wash and stuff like that, and don't accidentally lose it. So I always know that this is my BTS official Suga sweat towel right here. So yeah, that's the end of my fan account for BTS and the Red Bullet. If you guys are thinking about going or are going to this concert, it's honestly gonna be one of the best nights of your life. I wish more than anything that I could relive it, but unfortunately this fan account is the closest I can get. But yeah, that's all for this week, guys. Bye! and Chanyeol. You know, I really started to appreciate Chanyeol. Not that I didn't appreciate Chanyeol before.